Join us as we delve into some of the hot topics that both unite and divide us. We won't always agree, but let's commit to having those difficult conversations and open up some thought-provoking dialogue so that together we can start the process of getting back together. Listen, we've thought about it. We've even thought about it. Now let's talk about it with yours truly, James Kirklin, on the Intellectual Stew. You're talking about a recipient of grace. I mean, if y'all have never seen the show I did with Myra, I did a show called I Don't Look Like What I've Been Through. And if you click on Myra's picture, Myra's gorgeous, beautiful young lady. But Myra went to the doctor one time, and she doesn't mind me telling her testimony because she told it in front of everybody. She went to the doctor because she was suffering with sinus issues. And when she got there, not long after, she found out she was in stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a very rare form of cancer, I believe. Is it cancer, Myra? I'm not sure. I forgot. But if you look at it now, you're talking about a recipient of grace. God brought her all the way back. All the way back. God, I mean, all the way back. Now, so to see her being transparent, and some of the things that some of y'all complain about, she told me that to hear her testimony and the things she went through, and some of the things they did to her body while she was recovering, but she was sitting in the hospital believing God for her healing. They telling her she's fighting for her life, but she has a laptop in her hand still trying to do work because she said she still had to pay bills. And y'all arguing over the inner critic. You listening to the wrong voices. Because see, if you ever learn, because we talked about the grace gap, and the acronym for grace was guilt, resentment, anxiety, condemnation, and ego. And so many of us are stuck in that grace gap, right? So many of us are stuck because we don't believe that we deserve grace because we're guilty, because we're still feeling resentment, because we still suffer from anxiety, because we're still condemning ourselves, and because we got that mask on blocking grace called ego. But let me tell you something, sweetheart. Let me tell you something. Ego may impress people, but your honesty invites healing. Let me say that again. Your ego might impress people because you got this mask on and because you look the part. You know what I'm saying? But when you get through looking the part, when the rubber meets the road, when you have to go home and deal, and ain't nobody around to impress, you can't look at Facebook to get the likes. It's just you alone with you, me, myself, and I. At that point, if you're really honest with yourself, that's when you start to invite healing. And I don't want to know. I want to know something. How many people really want to live healed lives? Just raise your hand. Put the emoji. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Because if you get beyond the grace gap and get into God's gap, then you can experience and receive God's absolute pardon. What does God's pardon look like? It's when God says not guilty. It's when God says, I've already died for that. When God says, I sent my son and he died for that. When he says that it's under the blood, it's already covered because he already. Let me tell you something. The world holds grudges. God holds grace. He's not mad at you. He's mad about you. And tonight, what I want you to do is listen to what I'm telling you. I want you to speak to yourself like God does. I want you to see yourself the same way God sees you. If we ever get to the point where we spoke to ourselves like God does, let me ask you. What would change? I'm starting to feel. What would change in your life if you actually believed God has pardoned you? What would change in your life? Think about that. Think about that. What would change in your life if you actually believe that God had pardoned you. I want y'all to do something for me. I want y'all to do something for me. I want you to do something for me. And I'm like I said, I'm up. Damn, it's 9:47. Okay. I want you all to I want you to do something for me. I want you to finish this sentence in the comments. Okay. Those of you all, even if you're listening to the replay, I want you to finish this sentence in the comments. Now, if you're listening in your car or something like that, finish it in your mind. But this is the question I want you to say. Finish this in the comments, Dennis. Do this for me. Because of grace, I will no longer. And then tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. Based on the fact that I've taught you about the grace gap, I've told you that we're not worrying about the haters tonight. We're only going to worry about extending grace to ourselves. We're going to forgive ourselves tonight. Point blank, period. We are going to forgive ourselves. We're going to receive grace, right? Because we have to work. Because you know what? So many times we out trying to give grace to everybody else, and that's a pseudo form of grace because we don't even realize what grace really is until we are the recipients of grace. You cannot give what you have not received. Hear me, and hear me well. So somebody put those in the chat. Because of grace, I will no longer, and then say what you will no longer do. Say what you will no longer do. Because of grace, I will no longer. Whatever that is. Lisa said, I have changed tremendously my mindset and heart. I'm waiting on y'all. Because of grace, I will no longer. All right. Then it said, the world, he quoted me, the world holds grudges. God holds grace. Alicia said, we have the power. All right. So grace ain't gonna cause y'all to do anything. Because of grace, I will no longer lean on my own understanding. Okay. Because you've experienced grace, she said, I will no longer lean on her own understanding. Let me tell you all something. This grace gap that I am referring to, where some of us are stuck, because some of y'all came in a little later, I'm gonna tell you what the grace gap represents. It's the emotional baggage that keeps you stuck in the same place. It consists of guilt. It consists of resentment. It consists of anxiety, condemnation, and the ego. And that part about ego being the mask that blocks grace. That's deep. So because of grace, Sharon said, let me see what my friend Sharon said. Sharon said, because of grace, I will no longer think I'm not worthy of everything my heart desires. Absolutely. You deserve every good and gift. Every good and perfect gift comes from above. And he will not withhold anything if you walk upright. Once you are in a position where we are walking in righteousness meaning we're walking in right standing with God. That means there's nothing, no accusations being held over my head. I got clean hands and I got a pure heart, and I've given him something that he can work with. I mean, literally, I've given him something he can work with. Now I can move out of the grace gap. But so many people are stuck in the grace gap and don't even realize they're stuck between the loud inner critic saying you ain't good enough and you'll never change, to God actually using you. But the thing is, we have to figure out how to cross the bridge to get out of the grace gap and to really walk in grace. And then when we walk in grace, we'll be able to receive grace. And I don't want to hear anybody else talking about not extending grace if you haven't received it yourself. If you don't know how to receive it yourself, it's going to be hard to give it to you. It's going to be fake. It's going to be that mask that we're talking about. It's going to be, and it's beyond, we got to get past the place, point, and posture where we dress up just to impress everybody else. It's not about them. It's about what God is doing in us, because what we have to learn how to do is we have to learn how to become the best version of ourselves so that God can use us. That's when we become the light of the world. That's when that light is impossible to be hid. It's like the city that sits on the side of a hill, because people recognize that light. And once they recognize that light, they're drawn to that light. But a lot of us are bitter. A lot of us are broken. A lot of us are unhealed. And because we're unhealed, we still hurt other people. Just be real about it. Now I want to hear from y'all. Here's a question. Have you ever punished yourself longer than God did? I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. Have you ever? Tell the truth. I know I did. Lord, I know I did. Because I'm going to tell you one thing about Christ, because he even talked, when the scripture teaches us that if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature, right? And it says old things are passed away, all things are become new, right? It doesn't say all things are become new in 6 months. It doesn't say all things are become new in a year. It doesn't say all things are become new next week. It says all things are become new. So the word become new deals with time, right? And when we start talking about time and the kairos, that's like in a moment. That's that God time. So when he sets us free, it's an instantaneous freedom, right? Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Is a new creature. In a moment, he is a new creature. All things are become new. So here's the question: have you? I know God forgave you, but have you ever punished yourself longer? Lisa, let me see what. Yep. Alicia said, "Yep." What's up, Sue Ann? Sue Ann said, "Yep." Sharon said, "Yeah, I have." Is that how you said it, Sharon? She said, "Yes, I have. I have. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it." Yes. Lisa said, "Yes, humbly. I did it." Yeah. In fact, just type that was me. I know y'all told y'all to say yes, but type that in the comment. Say, "That was me. That was me." Say, if you've ever been harder on yourself than God was on you, say, "That was me." Type that in the chat. That was me. That was me. That was me. That was me. I was him. I was him. I know I've been so hard on myself. And I was so hard on myself that I didn't think I deserved grace. But I did. I did. Say, "That was me." I'm out. Let me type it. I know, because I got to be honest. It was me. It was me. I get that one right there. I got to put it in the chat myself. Oh, Lord, thank you for deliverance. I couldn't talk about this stuff. I tried talking about it while I was still going through it. Look, I put my own name again. I'm like, when I typed my name and I saw it show up, I said, "What the heck?" That was me. I didn't think Marsha Lloyd, I did not think I deserved grace. I thought I fell so far. And even in that moment, because that's one thing I love about God, is that God sees us. And that's what I said earlier for those that missed it. It doesn't matter. Even if you're in the grace gap, his grace can reach you while you're in the gap. Even while I was in the gap, I heard the voice of God audibly speak to me. And what he said to me is, "Kirk, you fell before you got up." And I was thankful for that. I'm thankful for that, because now you're seeing in this year, last year, I think it was, what Cat Williams said was a year of exposure. So many people got exposed, man. And I thank God that the stuff I did, I did long before I got up, and I dealt with it. I put it in a book, man. And if you find out what I did, man, I say, "Yep, sure did." I can't believe you did. Yeah, did that too. Well, yeah, did that. You mean you had yeah, sure did. I mean, you did, yeah. And some of y'all the same thing, yep. But you know what I say at the end of it all? It's under the blood. It's covered. Christ died for that too. And because he died for that too. See, it's something about him taking my black soul, dipping it in red blood, and somehow, I don't know how science can't explain it. I mean, authors can't document it, but somehow in that process, I came out whiter than snow. Did it. Was guilty. Because it's behind me. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he's a new. Because he forget. Oh my God. That's when you become a recipient of grace. I felt disqualified. Man, Sue Ann, that's my partner. Sue Ann and I worked together. We did some contract work together. And Sue Ann, and I didn't understand it then, but Sue Ann all of a sudden started calling me Grumps. And then all of a sudden people started calling me mean, and all these things. And I'm like, I'm not mean. I'm not. Well, she said Grumps. But at that point, I was probably hurt and didn't even realize it because you know what? I wasn't looking in the mirror. So if I was grumpy, Sue Ann, I'm sorry. And if I was mean and hurt some people during that hurt season of my life while I was in the grace gap, I apologize. Because I wasn't myself. I wasn't the best version of myself. And see, the thing is that sometimes I would be quick because I didn't really want, I don't think, Sue Ann, this is being kind of hit me in a revelation right now, but I don't think I really wanted people to know that version of me. So I thought if I sounded off quick enough that maybe I could run you away. And if I did that, then you wouldn't get to know who I had become. Does that make sense? Can anybody relate to that? Because the internal critic in me that told me I wasn't worthy, that told me I didn't deserve grace, and it tells you the same thing. Let me see what Alicia said. She said it's dangerous not to look in the mirror because you don't know how bad it is until you do. Absolutely. And see, when Sue Ann, and she jokes about it, when she was calling me Grumps, she was telling me what she saw, and I didn't see it because I wasn't looking in the mirror. And all mirrors are not physical mirrors. Some mirrors are metaphorical. Because some things you're not going to see looking in a regular mirror looking glass, right? But I was stuck. But the truth be told, the reason why I was grumpy, the reason why I was probably mean, and I really wasn't mean, I was just short. But if they say I was mean, I got to roll with that one. I guess it is. But the truth of the matter is, I was drowning in my shame. I couldn't believe that I was in this position. I think one of the in the book, Lisa, I think in chapter 2, there was a section that I wrote, and I said, I woke up one day literally and said, how did I get here? Because if someone had told me a month earlier, 2 months earlier, that I would be in the position that I was in based on the trajectory that I was on, there's no way I would have assumed that I would end up in this position. But when I woke up, and that was a direct result of failing to look in the mirror and assess my progress. And so I didn't think for a season, and notice I said season, I didn't think I deserved grace. But can I tell you something? But what I learned in that process is that grace doesn't just restore your relationship with God. It restores your relationship with you. Page 35, okay. Grace doesn't just restore your relationship with God, it restores your relationship with you. When you accept grace, you're no longer fighting your past. Instead, you're fighting for your future. You've got to become a recipient of grace. That is, if you want to give it to somebody else. Can't give it to nobody else until you receive it. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. And that's why I was where I was. Let me tell you something. I was bleeding publicly. That's why Sue Ann would say Grumps. She was joking and she said it with a smile on her face. But she probably was trying to quiet me down because hurt people hurt people. Where what? I don't know what I said to say what where. Because I wasn't looking in the mirror. I was not looking. I didn't see the guilt. I didn't see the resentment. I didn't see the anxiety. I didn't see the condemnation. I didn't see the ego. And I had it because the ego was masking Grace. You know why? Because you didn't see it. They didn't see it. Now, some of the people at church saw it. They saw it. My pastor saw it. That's why he wouldn't let me be by myself. You know what? In the Bible talks about in 1 Kings, it talks about Elijah being by the brook of Kerith. And while he was there, there were ravens that would come and sustain him every day. I had spiritual ravens that took care of me during those seasons of drought because those were dry seasons for me. My pastor, man, he knew I would just sit at the house, so he would call me, "Hey, Kirk, what you doing?" I ate more funeral food during that time because women at church knew I was single now. And we had more funerals in a little bit, so every day I'm bringing home boxes of food, right? They taking care of me. But that was grace. And I wasn't even receiving it then. I'm coming home. But when I finally started accepting that grace, I stopped fighting my past. It's hard to fight forward while you're fighting backwards, right? I started fighting for my future. Started meeting people that I started to attract different people, right? Because while you're in the grace gap, you'll continue to go with what you know, right? Because it's comfortable going with what you know, right? Because you stay with the familiar, even though the familiar breeds contempt, right? You're gonna stay in that circle because you know that circle. I mean, it just makes sense. I'm gonna stay in this circle because I know this circle. But when you continue to go with what you know, you always end up where you were. Thank you, Dr. Donald Parsons. He said, whenever you continue to go with what you know, you always end up where you were. Ask the children of Israel. 38 years going around the same rock. An 8-day journey turned into 40 years. Because why? They continue to go with what they know. Sometimes you got to step out of your comfort zone. Somebody told me something last week that made so much sense. They said you got to change circles. And you know what the funny part about it is? I've been knowing it for years. I've been knowing it. And I'm not even okay. Yep. But if you want to stop fighting the past and learn how to fight for your future, drop a 1 in the chat, and I'm going to give you some healing habits. Drop a 1 in the chat, a hard bar. Thank you, Dennis. I still can't wait to get you on the show. That's my dude. Dennis is my guy, y'all. I met more people on the internet. All right, here it is. Drop a 1 in the chat. You want to hear it? Y'all want to hear it? I'm going to give you 4 healing habits on my way out the door. Hey, Donnie. How you doing, sweetie? 4 healing habits on the way out the door. Let me give y'all those, and then I'm going to bed. All right. Healing habit number 1. Audit your inner language. If you want to defeat the me that keeps fighting me, audit your language. Every morning, ask, would I say to someone else what I just said to myself? I appreciate that, Dennis. I really do. I appreciate that. Bless you, sir. Audit your inner language. When you're talking to yourself, this is a question I want you to ask yourself. Would I say to someone else what I just said to myself? If not, replace it. Start to audit your language. Think about what you say before you say it. I get so much better results when I think about what I say before I say it. If I don't think 100% of the time, because my tongue is vicious. Isn't it, Donnie? I'm joking. Isn't it, Sue-Ann? My tongue is vicious. So if I'm not careful, I will cut the mess out of somebody. And don't even mean to do it. And once you say it, it's so hard to take it back, right? But if you audit your inner language, if you ask yourself, would you say to someone else what you're about to say to yourself, and you replace it beforehand, but Sue-Ann, it makes us money, right? Because that's what they bring me to the dealership to do, to close deals. And I have to figure it out in that moment. That's my strength. That's my strength. I mean, if I'm talking to someone and I'm trying to move them to this deal, my mind has been trained to do that, right? But if we learn how to audit our language, in fact, here it is. Let me get some Bible for it. Philippians 4:8 says, say and think on things that are true. Think on things that are noble. Think on things that are lovely. If it's not that, don't say it. if it's not lovely, if it's not true, if it's not going to bring truth, if it's not noble, then you need to be careful what you're saying, because your words have power. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. And some of you all are walking around like spiritual assassins because you won't audit your inner language. So that's number one. If you want to defeat the me that keeps fighting me, if you want to defeat the you that keeps fighting you, the first thing you should do is audit your inner language. But not only should you audit your inner language, but you should normalize needing grace. Alicia said, some people will have limited speech. Absolutely. But that's a good thing. Old folks, if I couldn't say a word, I just wave my hand. Sometimes you just need to wave your hand. Just shut up. Be quiet. You ain't got nothing to say. Don't say anything. It's okay. Daddy said you don't know. People won't know how. Never mind. I won't say that. But y'all know what I was about to say, right? But they won't know until you open your mouth. But the second thing we have to do, if we're going to defeat the you that keeps fighting you, you have to normalize needing grace. I just wave. Which one said do that? My hand. All right. Grace isn't, Marsha, can you and I, me and Marsha are going to talk for a moment, all right? Since we're going to normalize needing grace. Y'all can eavesdrop, but me and Marsha are talking. Here it is. Listen, Marsha, this is for you. I don't know why the Lord told me to say it to you, but this is you. Grace isn't for them. It's for you too. Yep. In fact, y'all, put that in the chat, somebody. Put that in the chat. Grace isn't for them. It's for me too. In fact, let's put, grace isn't just for them. It's for me too. Put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. Grace is not just for them. It's for you too. And it really starts with you. It really starts with you. You can, what did I say last week? Grace does not flow to you. It flows through you. But in order to flow through you, it has to get to you. So you have to normalize needing grace. I need grace every day. Grace woke me up this morning. Grace started me on my way. Thank you, Dennis. Grace is not just for them. It's for me too. Dennis, and I know you're raising girls, raising athletes. And sometimes you might feel like you didn't do everything you could. I know I raised a son, and he was a high-level travel baseball player. And I felt like sometimes I couldn't give him all the tools that were necessary, that some tools that other people might have had. And in those moments, I was hard on myself. Not to mention I was still dealing with the guilt that had me stuck in the grace gap. Not only the guilt, but also because I talked about guilt, resentment, what is it? Anxiety, condemnation, ego. I had all five. I'm gonna make it easy. I was trying to think, did I have grace? Did I have guilt? I know I had that. I know I had condemnation. I think I had resentment. I probably had anxiety, but Lord knows I had ego during that time. Right? But if we talk about healing habits. Now, let me quit going backwards. Healing habits, defeating the me that keeps me. First thing you got to do is what? Audit your inner language. Second thing you have to do is normalize needing grace. But the third thing you have to do is you have to learn how to speak prophetic affirmations. Speak prophetic. Some of you are speaking pathetic affirmations. I tell my salespeople at work, because, I told y'all I went back to work, and one thing I work with them on is goal setting, Alicia. And some of them just started selling cars, right? And they've never sold 10 cars in a month. But at the beginning of the month, because they see what other people do, they want to set goals, and they'll say, I'm going to sell 25 cars this month. How? So what I try to teach them is how to set realistic goals, right? And so setting realistic goals, then they won't speak pathetically. They'll speak prophetically. Instead of trying to set a 25 car goal, if you've never sold 10, try to set 8. And even if you only sell 7, then you probably made 85, 90% of an objective. And now we can build on that. That's a base. But if I say I'm going to sell 25 and only sell 8, then that's... So when you start speaking prophetic affirmations, then what you start to do is you start saying stuff like this, Donnie. You start saying stuff like, I'm not who I was. You start saying stuff like, I'm under construction. Now, I mess up sometimes. I got to be careful about saying this because, your words have power, right? I'll say stuff like I'm forever under construction. Although I am, I just want to say I'm under construction because I know I'm being built. Right. And then you say stuff. If you speak prophetic affirmations, you say stuff like God still has a plan for me. And what I want you to do when you start speaking these prophetic affirmations, Donnie, is you speak it until your spirit believes it. You speak it. That's it. Those are the prophetic affirmations. Let me put that up. And somebody else might need that one. This is a prophetic affirmation. I am ever evolving. I'm ever evolving. Whatever your prophetic affirmation is, that's what you speak to yourself. And you keep on speaking it until your spirit believes it. And once your spirit believes it, then all of a sudden, that's when your body's going to follow everything. People, that's when you become the light of the world. Speak it until your spirit believes it. That's what you got to do. If you want to defeat the me that keeps fighting me. One more healing habit. Let me give it to you, then I'm gone. One more healing habit. Here it is. The last healing habit is, other than speaking, because the first one was auditing your inner language. Let's go back and look at it for some people who might be just coming in. Audit your inner language. Number 2, normalize needing grace. Number 3, speak prophetic affirmations. And then finally, surround yourself with grace givers. I like to believe that we, as the Stew Crew, I changed it, Lisa. We're no longer Stew Nation. We're Stew Crew. We're the Stew Crew, okay? We, as the Stew Crew, this is a safe space. And I believe that even in the chat, we're surrounding ourselves with grace givers. If I ever see anyone in the chat that's trying to condemn somebody and that's not giving grace or extending grace, I'm probably going to kick them out the chat because I'm not going to make a toxic environment, because this is a safe space and we're learning and we're growing together, right? So we want, but even in our personal lives beyond Monday night, we want to also surround ourselves with grace givers, because you don't want everyone around you to feed your shame, because if everyone around you feeds your shame, you need to change circles. If everybody reminds you of who you were instead of who you are, it's time to change circles. You need people around you. Thank you, Myra. You need people around you who will say, yes, you fail, but you still got a future. Yes, you do. Absolutely. Let me put that up there. Thank you, Lisa. You don't need no trauma bonds. If I know misery loves company, I mean, misery might love company, but I got a lot of people that invite me to places I don't go. Do you hear what I'm saying? So just because misery sends out an invitation, and that invitation is usually to a pity party. I mean, do you go to every event that you're invited to? I don't. Huh? So those are, if you want to start to develop some healing habits, these are 4 things that you should do. Let's look at them again. Audit your inner language. I know it's tight, but it's right. Normalize needing grace. Speak prophetic affirmations. And surround yourself with grace givers. I forgot what I said to make y'all say I don't, and not for me. I don't know what I said. I'm sorry. That's what you got to do. And I understand, listen, giving grace or receiving grace, I know tonight, Stu, it was hard, but it's necessary because you can't get to purpose while dragging your past like a corpse. When you get a chance, study Romans chapter 7, when Paul talks about every time I desire to do good, evil is always present. In that same passage of scripture, he talks about, oh, wretched man that I am. In that text, he was talking about when he carries guilt around with him, it's like him carrying a dead man, the dead man on about that body on him everywhere he went, because he was dragging his past around like a corpse. Stop giving your old self CPR. Oh, okay, I got you. Thank you, Marsha. Stop giving your old self CPR and let it die. In fact, let me do the committal right now. Ashes to ashes. For as much as it has pleased Almighty God to take out of this world our past, we therefore now commit it. Want me to do it? Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Because you keep giving your old past CPR. You're keeping a skeleton in the closet and knowing it's meat still on. Let that stuff die. And let grace resuscitate you, or resuscitate the you that God sees. Do you hear me? And when you allow grace to resuscitate the you that God sees, then guess what? You'll start to speak to yourself like God speaks to you. And you'll see yourself like God sees you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Because we have to learn how to give ourselves grace. Let me leave you with this. I'm ready to go. When you heal the way you see it, when you heal the way you see yourself, when you heal the way you see yourself, you unlock the ways God can use you. Does that make sense? Because the way some of us see ourselves right now, take the ego off. That mask is no good. But heal the way you see yourself, and you will unlock the way God sees you and the way God can use you. If this hits you hard tonight, hey, if it hits your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like it, share it, subscribe to the Intellectual Stew on YouTube and on Facebook. And know we're live every Monday night at 9 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. You can follow me at on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all those things. Catch our live shows every Monday night at 9 o'clock. Follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all those different places, right? And remember this, the fight might be with you, but the victory is in his grace. Now, I was reached out to, let me see what you said when you, okay. I was reached out to earlier this week, and they said, James, Kirklin, you said you were going to introduce your new shirt. So I'm going to show it to y'all tonight. It's going to be available by next week, but I just want to show it to y'all right quick, and then we're going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Here it is. There it is. That's the new shirt that's coming out. And it has the slogan on it. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it has my slogan on it. When I get ready to close the show out every night, I always say that the world is changing. Why do you remain the same? So the shirt has that logo on it. Now, as you look at the shirts on the side, the higher shirts, they have the little badge on the front. Those shirts will have that logo with the shirt on the front. That logo would be on the back. So it would be a front and back shirt. So those shirts, well, I can show it to you a little bit better right here. That's the front of one. That's the front of another one. Now this one, that image is going to be on the front on one shirt, but on the shirt with two sides, it's going to also be on the back. It's going to be on the back. So I have all of those here real soon, and I'll let you all know. Is that one in my size? I like the black one in a, I can't, what that say? You already got one. Is that one is that black one? Probably. Well, that one ain't one. That's just a picture. Oh Lord, that was just a picture. That's not your size, but I'm sure we can get you size. We can get your size. All right, but I'm gonna have them in different colors, and I'll tell you all when you can order them. And I would really appreciate it if you all will find a way to support. And I appreciate the person who asked me. They said, I thought you said you're supposed to be showing us your new shirt. And I said, oh, thanks for remembering, because I sure had forgotten. But that's the slogan. The world is changing. Why do you remain the same? Because we are. What did you say earlier, Lisa? Where was your prophetic affirmation? You said, I am ever evolving. So if you're ever evolving, then why are we staying the same? All right. So it has been real. I have enjoyed it. I didn't really even mean to be on this late tonight, but y'all always get me started. And though that's what ends up happening. All right. But as I always say in closing, and I'm going to say it now, and I appreciate you all. If you have not shared this, go ahead and share it. If you have not reacted and liked this post, go ahead and like it. And if you missed the beginning, go back and watch the replay. Now, I also put shows on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and like Amazon, all those places as well. So you can listen to the replays on there, but those will be audio only. Okay. All right. I'm getting ready to go. As I always say in closing, the world is changing. My question for you is, why do you, and you didn't throw any shoes, and my feelings are kind of hurt because I didn't have to duck tonight, but why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night. Intellectual with James Kirklin. Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical. Have you ever found yourself informative and inspirational? How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do. Intellectual. Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind